Both now from Tel Aviv is former Deputy Foreign Minister and Ambassador to Washington, Danny Ayalon. Mr. Ayalon, welcome.
Thank you very much.
What was Liberman thinking in comparing the Iran deal to the Munich Agreement?
Well, I don't think it was a very wise idea and wise choice of words. Very bad timing, as we are now, Israel and the United States are engaged in very intensive and sensitive talks towards hopefully the signature of the next 10 years defense cooperation.
In which case, unwise sounds like an understatement.
Yes, right. And what's more interesting is that, what was the purpose of it? The agreement has already been signed. So usually when you make a statement, when it comes to the political science and diplomacy, you have to have a purpose, and I don't see any purpose that was served.
Mr. Ayalon, Defense Minister Liberman is a politician. There must have been a purpose behind his remarks. Can you speculate what that might have been?
Well, if this is the case, then we can see a pattern throughout his political career where really very narrow, self-serving political interests supersede national interest. And I think this was the case, and I think it was a good and prompt response from the Prime Minister's office and the Prime Minister to disassociate himself from this
So you see this as an attempt to get one up on the Prime Minister then?
Yes. Well, in any case, I think the lesson to all, especially to high-level politicians and statesmen and leaders, is to be more calculated, not to lose temper, and to really think before they speak.
Mr. Ambassador, Israel, of course, is negotiating this very sensitive military aid package now with the U.S. The Prime Minister seems to be gambling that if he carries on these negotiations and he doesn't get the deal he wants, he may get a better deal from the next occupant in the White House. I mean, how do you feel about this strategy?
Well, I think there's too much is in stake. I think it's a very tall order to gamble on that, and the unpredictability is huge. I mean, if Hillary will be the next president, then I don't think. I mean, she will continue with the Obama's offer. I don't think there will be any change. With Trump in the White House, again, we do not know. I remember that just a few months ago, Mr. Trump said that Israel should pay for the defense assistance. He also said that the NATO countries, the U.S. will not come to their aid unless they pay or increase their payment to NATO. So I think this is taking a lot of risks, not signing it now, and hopefully this will be the case.
And what do you think about President Obama's claim that some Israeli security officials now look favorably on the Iran agreement? Is there any validity to this?
Well, near as I can tell, yes. Some in the defense establishment, in the intelligence community, do think that this agreement is not as calamitous as it has been called. But I don't think that it was the President's call to quote or relate to Israeli officials in order to justify this agreement. In my perspective is that this agreement is a bad agreement, and it could have been much better since Iran was on the verge of collapse. They needed the agreement much more than the P5+1 that negotiated against it.
Yeah. Mr. Ayalon, I want to rewind briefly to our discussion about the presidential candidates. You've had dealings with Hillary Clinton. How do you assess her stance on Israel in particular? And at this opportunity, have you met Mr. Trump and formed an impression on how he would handle Middle East issues specifically?
Well, Mr. Trump, I have met very briefly at the AIPAC conference just last March. With Hillary, I know her very well. I consider her a friend. We have worked very well when she was a senator in New York and I was ambassador in Washington. And then when I was in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, she was the secretary. We also worked very closely. So I have no doubt that she will be a very good president, especially when it comes to Israel-U.S. relations. And she has Israel's back. She's also very smart, very experienced. So I'm not sure that she will put a lot in hopes to have any kind of breakthrough negotiating the deal with the Palestinians. And I'm sure that she will let the Palestinians come to the table on their own accord without trying to put international pressure on Israel. About Mr. Trump, again, I don't know, he made a reference that he could solve this problem in 6 months if he was really into it.
Wishful thinking, perhaps.
And to that, I would say that, you know, it's not a real estate deal, the conflict between us and the Palestinians. So he has no experience, he has no proven or track record. But I think that his heart is in the right place, and I think he's also a very good friend of Israel. And I think this is most important, is to keep the bipartisan support of Israel, which has been, I would say, frustrated in the last few years because of the Iran deal.
Mr. Ambassador, if I can just turn to another subject. You were very critical in government of the Turkish government of President Erdogan. How do you feel about the reconciliation agreement that Israel agreed to with Turkey?
Well, I'm for it. I definitely support it. I think, I mean, from a rational point of view, it's important. It's important for Israel. It's very important for Turkey. And the reason, and I hope this will continue without any interruptions following the failed coup in Turkey. About Erdogan himself, I still hold that he is an Islamist, an extreme Islamist, and we have, of course, to make sure that this agreement will be followed to the letter and the spirit by Turkey.
Mr. Ayalon, thank you very much.
Thank you.